Hi, this is Buzz, part 2 of repairing cones on vintage Jensens. In part 1, I explained that I found this pair and one of them had a small 1-inch crack right about there, and I bought this from the auto parts store, Permatex Ultra Black gasket maker, and it dries, it doesn't dry real brittle, it dries rubbery, which is good for a speaker. Okay, so what I did is I did the whole area here, about 3 coats, and then on the last coat I did the whole edge. Like I said in part 1, one of them's made in 56, one of them is made in 57. I believe they're P10 Qs. In the other video I kept saying P12, just slipping, but they're P10s, they're 10-inch speakers. So this one, let's see, which one is this? This is the This is the 56. This is the one that ripped the entire perimeter of the cone, was separated. After I played it only a few hours at low volume, I had it in a tweed basement in the bottom half, and I kept hearing the rattling and it kept getting louder and louder. So then when I took them out, then I found out it was the one that wasn't ripped at all was ripped around the whole thing, and the one that I repaired wasn't ripped anymore. But then I decided to add, you know, more of this gasket repair stuff to prevent it from cracking, and I haven't had a chance to play them yet. Thought I would do this video just before I put them in the amp. These are the speakers that came inside of the amp. It was a custom handmade replica of a tweed bassman, and the guy kind of he was an engineer, and the name of his company was Bud's Amp. I looked it up on the Google, and the phone number is no longer connected, and there's not actually a website, but this guy was an engineer that designed stuff for a recording studio, so he wanted everything exact in his Bassman clone. And I don't even know where he had these made. None of the speaker makers could identify these. I sent them pictures. They're 8 ohms. There's the cone. I believe there's supposed to be a copy of a P10R, maybe, but they have a real deep, rich, clean tone. They don't overdrive easily. During the summer I bought one of these. You can't buy them anymore. They've said they're out of stock everywhere, and they said they would be back in stock in January, but nobody has them yet. This is the Alessandro G10 SC59. Supposedly it has a paper voice coil former. It's really, I only have one, so it was really hard to tell if I liked it better. I had a different Bassman that had ceramic magnet speakers in there, and I put this one in there, and I kind of switched them back and forth. But anyway, like I said, I don't even know who made these speakers, but they do sound really good. Before these started to rattle, I thought these sounded a little bit better. There was a little bit less bass and less treble, so it didn't have such a broad frequency, but really had that vintage Jensen tone. So I'm about to put them back in there. Had to make these, by the way. I didn't think I knew how to do that, but I just took one of them apart and then reverse engineered it. So I'm about to put them back in there, and I'll probably do a part 3 of me playing through them. Before I did any of these repairs though, let me tell you, I first used compressed air to kind of get any excess dust off, and I have a paintbrush somewhere around here, real soft bristle paintbrush, which helped to get the harder to get off stuff. But other than that, these cones are really sensitive, and you always got to be careful with them. And I might as well show you the cabinet really quick that they came in. And I bought these from a guitar player. It wasn't like I got them at a garage sale from somebody that didn't know what they were or anything. There's some of the hardware. This was like made for movie projectors. This is RCA 400. And they have a really strong antique smell. I mean, like, phew. I don't know if it's the wood that these were made out of, and I don't know what kind of wood that is, and they sounded okay in there. You could have them open or closed back, you know, by just flipping that open, but I got a small house and I needed the smaller footprint, and you know, these use a 1/4-inch jack. This was mounted right on one of the terminals right there, like that. So I would just rather have them in a real guitar cabinet. I looked at some tweed 210 cabinets, and then I thought about, I don't know what I'm getting into. I could just put them in my tweed basement, and I don't know about the other ones, but so I don't know where he got them from. They were on Craigslist. Actually, they weren't on Craigslist. I went to see an amp on Craigslist, a Fender Tweed Pro Junior, and I asked him if he had anything else, and then he went and got one of these. And then after I tried it out at home, I said, what about that other one? And he said, well, I was really wanting to keep one of them, but then I talked him into it, and I went back there and got the other one. The speaker that was in the Fender Pro Junior was the Jensen P10R reissue, and these definitely sounded better than that. Like I said, it's kind of hard to do an A-B comparison when you got to unplug other speakers, and I don't know. So watch my next video to see what these sound like.